October 20th, 2025. The thought of the day, the deep thought of the day for me today, I had this interesting little phrase pop to mind when I was thinking about how sometimes I spend money, like what my financial habits can sometimes be like. I think it's kind of catchy. Maybe you might enjoy it. If your financial habits are like water, they will fill in all the cracks of your emotional impulses. If they are structured and stable, they give your emotional impulses something to climb upon. I think about how, and I guess this is, I say financial habits, but I think this can kind of apply to habits, all sorts of different habits, because the other place I think this, at least in my life, directly applies is eating habits. I think if your eating habits are like water, and let me clarify that, I guess, a little bit. Something being like water to me means that it's fluid. It's not very structured. It kind of falls with gravity. It just goes wherever the path of least resistance is. That's just what happens. And when your eating habits are like that, you're kind of led by your physical impulses and probably to a large degree emotional impulses as well. My original comment, though, if your financial habits are like water, they will fill in all the cracks of your emotional impulses. I think about I've been living within my means. I've been kind of doing that fairly well for a little while, but I know in the past, when I've had an excess of money, which sometimes happened, the emotional impulse was to get more stuff that would help my business, which in its own way is not really a bad thing, but it would have been smarter for me to save money and to kind of create that cushion of safety, the financial safety, so that when times are lean, I am doing better. And I've neglected to do that, unfortunately. Not a very good habit, but things are changing. I'm going to be able to do that soon, I believe. However, anyway, if your financial habits are structured and stable, they give your emotional impulses something to climb upon. I say upon, maybe I should have just said climb on, but I feel like upon is actually a little more apt. If you have that structure, the emotional impulses you have to be flippant or kind of willy-nilly with your spending, well, if they're kind of anchored to something that is structured, you tend to not, you just don't act in that flippant way, and that's a good thing. So I think what that means is creating a better plan and sticking to that plan. That's the structure for how your financial habits might go, and in the same way your diet might go, so that you don't fall victim to your physical impulse to satiate for delicious sugary things or whatever it is that might be your eating vice. What does that mean for calls to action, or a call to action? I guess creating structure is the most important thing. if you are to make progress with your finances or your diets or wherever else that might apply. But structure is literally making a plan. So start small, as usual. That's the good idea. Start small. Meaning maybe just make a plan for whatever your next paycheck will, wherever your next paycheck will go. Plan every dollar or every $5 increment. Just do that once and see if you can stick to it. And then you can build that habit, build the confidence in yourself that you can maybe make a more difficult plan next time. All right, the day today was pretty basic. I woke up, got to my stuff, pretty normal. I did my walk a little later than I wanted to, which ended up pushing my trip to Dreamwalk to drop off the footage a little later than I wanted to, which meant I was sitting in the traffic at rush hour, basically for an hour and a half or so, 2 hours maybe, when it really only needed to be like 40 minutes at a normal time of day, or 45, maybe 50, I don't know. It was a lot more driving than needed. Although the scenery was really nice, so that wasn't a total waste. And then I got back and worked on my programming the rest of the night. Finally got over one of the humps I've been facing the last couple days. Kind of moving forward again, so that's good. And that's the day. That was everything. Hopefully there was some useful bits of suggestions for you. Info. Ideas. Yeah, that's what I offer. Until next time, thanks for swinging in. Take it easy.